Hi, Kathy here from Eclectic Images with a bit of an Easter treat today. I was walking through our local spotlight the other day and saw these gorgeous paper mache eggs. And do you remember did you as a child always have little fluffy yellow chickens at Easter? Well, they had them in gelati type colours and I could not resist that combination. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do with this gorgeous egg? So it was just a paper mache egg with an opening around the front to put something in. Chickens, of course.
Funny, I thought, what are you going to do with the chickens?
What am I going to do with the chickens? I know. So I'm making a little house for the chickens. And I thought, what's going to be a great way to decorate an egg? And then went alcohol inks. So it was paper mache coloured. I've already given it a coat of paint to give it a nice smooth surface for the alcohol inks to run on. If I'd just done them on the craft card of the paper mache, the inks would just absorb straight into it. They've got to have a glossier type surface. Now this is just, this is a bit heavy, just an interior silky satin wall paint that I've used, and I've just coated the inside and the outside of the egg. I'm going to start off with the inside, and we're just going to drop a few drops. Now I'm using the Pinata alcohol inks, which are lovely strong colours. And with those, you have Claro is a solution that helps to slow the drying time of the inks. And then you also have their cleanup solution, which is an alcohol-based solution. And this is what we use to lift off a bit of colour and move inks around. Saying that, both Claro and the cleanup solution will move the inks around. One tends to lift them. The Claro is the extender for blending. Okay, so we're going to drop some drops of Claro into the egg first. Run that around, and then I'm just going to put in, I've got teal, I've got Baja blue and pink. So let's get all those. I should have got those open first. Let's get those all open. And starting with the pink, I'm just going to drop some drops in and just let them move around. I just want to coat some colour. Dropping inks near me is not a good idea. So I'm just moving it around, letting them run into each other. If I think they need a little bit of lightening off, I can add some alcohol in there just to get a bit more movement happening. Now it is hard for me to see what I'm doing and have it in a way that you can see what I'm doing as well. Are you following this at all, Matthew?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm going to drop in some of the Baja blue. I'll start at the front and I'll put some in at the side as well. Now let's add some more pink. And just roll it around till we get those colours moving and blending in together. Let's add a bit more Claro in there. Keep that all running. So we want to cover as much of the inside of the egg as we can. And we should be able to do it just by this rolling bits around. Let's get some more alcohol in there, just really get things moving around. The tricky bit is getting right to the front. That's better. So if I'm seeing some areas that aren't covered, I'm adding some bits. Now I do have some paper towel here standing by in case I get bits where I don't want them. So I'm just going to put a little bit of cleanup solution onto my paper towel and just wipe off that bit of blue that came out of the egg. Because I'd really like the outside of it to be mostly just monochrome. So we have all this lovely bright colour on the inside. Unfortunately, most of these colours are now choosing to mix together. So we're losing some of our lovely brights. Okay, I'm just going to grab a little brush and just come in. I'm just trying to get this so that you can see what I'm doing. Where there's just a few white patches still, I'm just going to move the brush into the ink. And bring it right up to those edges. Okay. Let's now just tip out any excess, which there might not be any. Okay. Now I'm feeling that I've actually lost a bit too much of my colour in there, so I'm going to swizzle a bit of alcohol in there. Swoosh it around and tip it out. And then go back in with some of the pink. Just so we get a little bit more variation of colour. That's better. And maybe a little bit more Baja blue, which is the lighter blue. My monochrome outside is going to be a little bit challenged by dripping stuff outside. But you know, this is the nature of alcohol inks. It's always going to be a little bit random because they run and they do stuff, and we're working in a little confined space. You know, what we get is what we're going to get. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm going to put other stuff in there as well. So let's just now clean off the outside of our egg. We'll just move our colours to one side a bit. I may choose to come back through with a bit of gold in there. I'm just going to see how the outside looks first and then choose if I change up any more of the inside. So let's just get our clean up solution, put a whole lot on our paper towel and give that outside a clean. Don't forget, this is one of the advantages of alcohol ink, is that if you're not happy with things, you just get some alcohol and you clean it. So just give that a bit of a scrub. Okay. And I can see I've got a little bit of colour still running on the inside, so I'm just going to put my paper towel in there and just lift out a bit of that colour that's wafting around. There we go. Okay, so can you see inside there that we have got a little bit of extra colour happening there? Okay, now let's try our outside. Now for the outside, I've got my Mantilla black, but I've also got a diluted version. So that's a version where I've already added some alcohol to it. I find if I use the Mantilla black and the shadow grey together that they've got a slightly different hue to them. I think the grey's got a little bit of a greenish hue, and so for me, I prefer to work with a dilute black, and then I'm going to be using some alcohol and we're going to use the gold. I've also got a bit of Blanco, the white, standing by in case I decide that I want to add that in. Now your white and your gold are two colours that need to be shaken a lot, and I also have little ball bearings inside those bottles just to make sure that the ink gets rotated well enough and gets mixed well enough. Now I am going to be using a hairdryer, so well, it is a hairdryer, a hair styler. This is one that has 3 speeds, including a cool speed. Now that's important. I'm going to be using it on the cool setting so that I can move the inks around without the heat drying it any further. But while I'm doing that, I'm not going to be talking so that we can speed it up and cut out that sound because it does make a lot of noise. So I'll just get Matthew to do a close-up watching how the inks are moving, and I'll talk again after we've done the process. So I'm mainly going to be starting off with the diluted black. I'll have my alcohol standing by to move it around a bit, and then I'll add in some rivers of stronger black and of the gold. Okay, so this should be really cool, or it could be a hot mess. You know, alcohol inks can go either way. Okay, so let's get started. It's also a round surface, so it's going to run everywhere, and that's just a part of it too. Okay, putting my see, very noisy. Okay. Catch the egg. Okay, we've done a bit of an edit there. I was finding with the limited mobility in my arm that using the hair styler was a little bit difficult, so I've swapped to I'm going to just use a puffer. So let's start that again with me putting on some Claro first. Now, of course, it is very challenging doing it on a curvy surface and throwing your inks around the place. So So just popping those on and then just get the puffer to move them around. If I need to, which I will a lot, add in alcohol as well, and then just keep shifting it with the puffer. And I am going to bring some of the Blanco in here as well. We'll be getting it all over our glass mat. That's okay. I can clean that off afterwards. Now let's drop a bit of Blanco in there as well. Blanco is better with the Claro. And that's going to give us a more smoky look. That's more the look I'm going for. Okay, let me try and organise my table a bit so I'm not knocking things flying quite as much. Let's start off again with some Claro. I'm hoping Matthew can see what I'm doing at the same time as me being able to see what I'm doing. The diluted black. We can add in some alcohol and let's puff it around. We'll add in a bit of, we'll keep going with a bit more black first, and then I'm going to come in with a bit more of the, and of course it's all running around the other side. That's okay, we'll get round to that as we get there. I'm just going to focus on one area, and then we can alter it up when we get to the other part. So let's just move over to this side a bit. Claro, Blanco, bit of black in there, move it around. And of course the look I'm going to get is totally different to what I thought I was aiming for. But as long as I get that movement of the ink happening, I'll be really happy. So a little bit Claro there, bit of black, bit of white. Let's chase it around. Oh, that's actually really cool. Let's try and get a little bit filling in some of these bits. So I'll do directly on the spots where I want a bit more movement. Push it around. Alcohol inks are just wicked. Just look at that we're getting. Okay, let's move ourselves around a bit. A little bit of Claro, black, bit of white, get some movement. And if I get a bit of black going onto the inside, that'll be fine. We're going to put some glitter and stuff in there yet, so that's all going to be good. What I don't want is too many black lines, so if I need to break those up a bit, I will. Where's my alcohol? Bit of alcohol on there. When you're working on a flat surface, when you put the alcohol on, it actually dissolves the colour a bit and means that you can then move it around more. But because we work on a curved surface, it's going to run away on me. So I have to work reasonably quickly to get what I want there. Top edge a bit. Okay, so Claro in there. I'm working mostly with the diluted black, just because even that is fairly dark. There we've got a spot with nothing, so I'll add a little bit of Blanco in there. I do love working with the Blanco. It just changes everything up. Black, Blanco. So I've just got to keep checking that I haven't run too much back over the area that I'm really happy with. But then again, I'm also going to add gold in here too, so that's going to change everything up as well. And it's the joy of alcohol inks is you just keep working with it until you get something that you're happy with. And if you don't, you just keep adding to it, you keep moving it around. But I still want this black and white look on the outside to contrast with the colours that we put on the inside. So a little bit of Blanco there. moment. Okay, so that's the front part done. We just rotate it round and check. Now I'm going to try and experiment here. So Matthew's going to need to go up a little bit higher with the camera. I'm going to try and pop it onto a bottle for doing the back, just to see if we can get it holding a little bit stiller, and then I've got a bit more access with bits. So then I... One thing I should have said at the start, do make sure that you are working in a ventilated area when you're working with alcohol inks, particularly with the Claro, more so than the clean-up solution. You don't want to be breathing too much of it in. All right, now I'm going to give them a gold a shake. And let's see how much we can mess with it with some gold. I'll just pop the black and the white to one side in case we need more of them. And we will start with the bottom of the egg. And I'm just going to clean my hands a bit with some clean-up solution. Getting a little bit sticky. Okay, so gold. And run it around, move it. We want to keep that one moving. That's it. See how it just splashes out? Trust me when I'm a little bit challenged anyway to pick a really hard project to do. Now that's too much, so let's put a bit of white in the middle there. And maybe a bit of black as well. Smoosh it. Ah, see, that's great. See how the gold then moves with those colours. It's a bit special though. It's a bit special. Okay, let's go a bit of Claro. Did I say I was doing the bottom first and now I've gone right round to the top? That's wicked. Okay. Try and get back around to the bottom. I think this one's a bit challenging for you to try and keep up with, Matthew. professional. It's a challenge for me to keep up with without knocking the bottles over. Now we've got a great patch on the back there that hasn't got any gold on yet, so let's try and hold that around that way. Let's just hold it up, let it spin around, have a good look. That is awesome. I hope you like it. It is really challenging though, because I've picked a very difficult surface to work on. Working with alcohol inks on a flat surface is a lot easier, but I just saw this shape and thought I want to play with it. Okay, so that's all looking good. Now let's go back to our inside. And here, I'm just going to let that hang for a minute on one hand and dry for a tick while I just put a few lids on and move some bits out of the way, because we're now going to switch to glitter. That's my diluted black lid. And my black, and always, I'm actually just going to rest the gold ink lid on it at the moment because I will want to clean all that before I actually put the lid down properly. The metallics and the white go very cloggy and it can make it hard to get the lids off afterwards. So I'm going to want to give those a really good clean before I pack them up and put them away. How's that feeling? Claro, when you're using a lot of Claro, it can leave it feeling a little bit sticky. Okay. I think we're going to take a break for 5 minutes and come back and film again in a moment. Just going to give that chance to dry a bit better so that I can handle it and clean up this area, and then we'll come back and do our glittering and our chickens. Okay, see you soon. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so the next stage, after we're happy with how our colouring has gone, the next stage is to give it a sealing spray. So to do that, if I wanted to give it a UV protection, I would use the Krylon UV resistant spray, and then follow that up with a coat of the Krylon Kmart varnish, spray varnish, and that will just protect that outside. But now I want to focus back on the inside again, where we've got those lovely blue and pink and tealy tones, and we're going to coat it with a layer of Stickles, so putting some glitter glue in there. The other things that you could do, you could just put a layer of glue inside and then sprinkle in loose glitter. This just happens to be what I've got at the moment, so I'm just squeezing some in, and then I'm going to grab a brush and just smooth that out, remembering to tilt it towards you and the camera. So I want to create a nice glittery effect over the top of those beautiful colours inside.
Looks like magic.
Yeah. Great big blob of glitter there in the bottom, and we're just going to keep spreading that out. Give a bit more of a squeeze in there. Just so we've got enough to get right up into the top bits too. This isn't something that you have to do, I just think it's going to look extra pretty if it's sparkly inside. So just checking how we're going. I need to get up to that bit a little bit yet. I don't actually need any blobs in there, I just want to spread it all out. Okay, let's have a look. How does that look? Need a bit more along the back there. And just try and going over it lightly with my brush, just to try and smooth out any lines that I've got, so that it just looks like just an even sprinkle of glitter through there. If I've got any excess, I can just put it to one side there. I may put that around the edge at the end. So I'm just looking inside and moving it around and just making sure that that glitter is all beautifully spread. Okay, so that's our look there. Now our last little stage, apart from whether I decide to glitter the edge of the egg, our last little stage is to put our chickens in. So I'm going to get just some tacky glue. I could use glossy accents or tacky glue, any other fairly quick drying glue. And I've got to encourage this one to come out of the bottle. You know how you say, just check your glue before you start? And I did that, and now it's deciding not to come out. Let's give it another go. There we go. Tacky glue, I think. If that fails, we'll take it off at this point. I don't need a fine nozzle. I just want a little blob here to sit some little chicken feet into. And of course I can scrape that excess back into the bottle afterwards. That won't get wasted. So what I want to do is pick up my little chickens. Oh, look at these little fellas. Aren't they just the cutest? As I said, gelati chickens. So I'm going to grab one gently by his fur, stick his feet in the glue, and then pop him into the egg. Making sure that tweezers let go of him. Come on, little chicken, in you go. Come on, little fella, sit there. Okay, then let's get the next one. Oh, better get him from the front, not the side. Oh, you're cheeky little things, aren't they? Come on, get your feet in the glue. Everything wants to roll around the wrong way. There we go, feet in the glue. How's that little pink fella going? And pop him in there. And then grab our little green one. And pop him in there. And look at that. How cute for an Easter decoration is that? What do you think? Should we put some glitter around the edge, or are we happy with it just like that? I think maybe just like that, so that it's just, we're getting just that sparkle from inside. What do you think, guys? I think I'm going to leave it without glitter this time. Matthew is just aghast, me not glittering something. Anyway, look, I hope you like that. As I said, I just saw this in my local Spotlight store and thought that's just way too cute not to have hanging up around the place somewhere over Easter. So let's hope you have some fun. As I said, the egg could be painted, it could be done with inks, but I just thought that it really was crying out for the alcohol inks. So hope you enjoy having a play with something like this and decorate up your place for Easter, and we'll see you again next time.